I learned a lot during the live stream, okay? So let me tell you what happened. So I spent a lot of time setting up Liorian board. Huge amount of time. Almost every button had a graphic as a background, and I had color management, and it was all laid out really nice. And 20 minutes before the show, I get it all set up, and I learned that the sounds were working, but all the buttons that were responsible for switching scenes failed. Now, I don't know if it was because of the WebSocket connection. I don't know if it was due to the software. I don't know if it was specific to my computer. But the bottom line was I was super upset because I couldn't get Liorian board to function. So after the show, I thought to myself, wow, let me see what's available for scene selection with OBS Studio. So, I mean, conducting your live stream and looking at the list view in the scenes here is just problematic. It's just not practical because you have to, it's like reading a book while conducting your live stream. If you have a lot of scenes, you got to read. It's very hard to disseminate one button from the next because it all looks the same, right? So the argument is, well, okay, Scott, just go into the grid view. Well, you go into grid view, it's even worse, really. I mean, if you try to make the buttons larger so that you can see more text, you think that if you made the dock area a little bit wider, it would help. But no, the buttons are at a fixed width, which appends the text. It cuts the text off. It looks like the buttons are about, I don't know, 300 pixels wide. And if your titles for the scenes exceed that width, the text gets cut off. And it just doesn't work. It's even worse than the list in the list view. So that doesn't work either. So my question, I started asking myself, wow, wouldn't it be incredible if you could take the controls from Liorian board in regards to button width, button height, button padding, changing the background color of the button, changing the stroke color of the button, and the stroke is like a line that would be on the outside of the button, and changing the color of the button text itself. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could apply those controls to the grid view in the scene selector? It would be fantastic. And then you could also allow the user to designate how many columns that they would want to see in this view. And if you were to select, say, one column here, all the buttons would be 100% width of the dock window. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So if I go into my Photoshop, I mocked up an idea. So this is what would be way better in regards to usability, because finding the buttons visually would be absolutely easier because you have control over basically designing how the buttons look in the scene selector. You see what I'm saying? Now, I want to let you know that I reached out to a very famous plugin developer for OBS Studio, and I said, yo, how much money would you want to develop this? And he replied, I would like to have 1,000 euro. I'm like, okay, that's how much in American? That's like $1,300. It's a lot of money, but really it's not when you realize how much work it would take to do it, to develop it. So I'm wondering if it would make sense to have another live stream and do like a fundraiser with Super Chat where I would provide tutorials and we would have fun and everything. And during the entire show, there would be like one of those like little temperature things, you know, where there's a goal and then the red line goes up higher every time somebody submits a Super Chat towards funding this cool plugin. I wonder if that would be something that we could do. I wonder if that would be fun. I wonder if this would be worth your Super Chat. So let me know in comments if you'd be interested in doing something like this. What's really cool is that we would be leveraging the power of our community to create new functionality as plugins for OBS Studio. I think this would be absolutely epic. What do you think? Let me know in comments. All right, number 2. The credit scroll thing that we tried to do was a complete fail because it simply wouldn't, one thing after another, two mice on one computer, that failed. Amanda that was working with me, she was responsible for grabbing the usernames that would come up in the comments, put them into a notepad file, and then we would quickly drop it into a scroll at the end of the show. That completely failed. And I was thinking, wow, maybe I could use auto hotkey to scrape all the usernames from the YouTube page and have it create a flat file for us that could be easily dropped into a scroll. So I'm working on that. And then another one that I really want to do bad, because I think this would be so freaking cool, is to have a auto hotkey, right? Do a match based on designated users. And when there's so it's looking at the comments and it's looking at the username. And if there's a match based on what I'm entering in it. So if I said, I want a match based on Paul Peck drywall tube or the Susie channel, let's say. So if the Susie channel comes into view as a commenter, a match is executed and a hotkey macro is automatically created based on the match. So what that would allow you to do is play a scene or a source when that person comes into comments. So you could just sit back and do these customized shout outs to people as they come into comments automatically. Oh my God, that would be so absolutely cool to do that, because when conducting live streams, engagement is absolutely very important. And I think it would be absolutely valuable for the end user to get recognition when they come into a show. So that's another thing I'm working on. And I'm in Fiverr right now. I'm trying to solicit some programmers to set up a auto hotkey script that would do something like that. So far, not so. I have not had too much luck, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep on pushing on that. I have a video I'm working on. I don't feel so good right now, honestly. I've got a cold and it's up in my chest, and I got a headache when I cough and blah 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 blah. It's a real pain in the ass. I'm feeling better, but I'm pretty beat up. And I'm not in the right mindset to be Super Scott, when doing these videos. So we'll see if I can crank it out by Tuesday. But my next video will be on the Shutter encoder. I don't know if you've heard of the software, but it's a video encoder, and it's fantastic. So it's free. You'll love the tutorial. I can't wait to show you. And then we're going to start digging into some plugins at OBS Studio, because everyone has told me that they want to see more plugin tutorials, and that's what we're going to do. I will see you on those videos. Best wishes to you. Stay strong, and let me know what you think about the ideas that I'm thinking about. I'd be very interested to know. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.